Jeff Rowe from Two Hacks Garage. Well, if you saw in the last video, we installed that awesome single plane Holley intake manifold on the 311 cubic inch small block Chevy Ripper that's in my nostalgia front engine dragster. Speaking of dragsters, well, this one here is going to actually have a cooling system on it. I know back in the day, the nostalgia dragsters really didn't have that. And with the previous engine, we ran methanol and we didn't need any cooling system. However, I'm going to be running race gas on this, and race gas burns a lot hotter than methanol. Methanol acts as its own cooling agent, but I'm going to be running probably 100, 110 octane race fuel in this, and I'm going to need to keep this thing cool. So how am I going to do that? Well, I bought a bunch of awesome parts, and I've been kind of working behind the scenes, mocking some stuff up and trying to decide how I'm going to do this. Some of the parts I do have, I have a CSF dragster radiator. I have a Proform water pump that's electric, a Jegs water neck, which I'll show you here in a few seconds and why that's important. Just a bunch of odds and ends. It's going to be quite interesting. I've never had to do something like this, so it's going to be a learning curve for me to get it all right, get it mounted exactly the way I want it. And, you know, at the end of the game, guys, I really want to make sure that it's going to cool this dragster. My goal is to be able to fire this thing up, go do a burnout, stage it, let her rip, and get it back to the pits and make sure it doesn't overheat. I've done a lot of research. I think I'm on the right path, but you know what, guys? I'm starting to ramble. Let me show you what parts we're working with, and this is probably going to be a two-part video, not 100% sure, but yeah, let's show you what we're working with. All right, sorry for the mess. Like I said, I've been extremely busy, but here is the Proform electric water pump. It's 6 amp, 35 gallons per minute. It's a nice, really, really nice satin black and polished aluminum housing. It comes with all the fittings, all the parts, all the wiring that you're going to need. I did need to get a different style fitting just for my application of being a dragster. A little bit different, but you know what, guys? I'm really confident in this piece here. Like I said, it comes with everything you need. Here is the dragster filler neck that's going to go on the intake manifold. I'll show you that in a second. I got that from Jegs Racing. It's got a Moroso cap for it. And yeah, that's some of the parts we're working with. And I've got all kinds of different fittings and hoses that's going to go with all along this. So this here is just part of it. But right here is the CSF radiator meant for a dragster. You know, normally you have a dragster that's up this way and you have your filler neck here and it all drains back in there. Well, as you can see, this one's a lot lower. So in order to make this work right, I'm going to have nice A&F fittings coming out of here, and it's going to go to that electric water pump. But in order to fill this and get everything right, that's where this comes into play. Because what happens is that sits on there like that. So what happens is you're able to fill it there like you would normally a radiator. You get water down in the engine, and you get water down into here. And when you kick on the electric water fan, you'll be able to circulate it and all that fun jazz. But yeah, so those are the parts I'm working with. CSF, dragster radiator, that is from Jegs, and my Proform awesome water pump, and there's a bunch of other odds and ends that we'll discuss here once we get busy. Like I said, I've been working on this in the background a little bit, and now, you know what, guys, I think I'm pretty confident that we can get this all going. Tell you what, I'm rambling. We should probably get to work. Oh, real quick, the one thing I do have for a water temp, this is going to go in the intake manifold. This is from Marshall. Actually, the same company that makes the Marshall amps and all that. So that's going to be my temp sensor gauge, and it's actually going to go right there. Kind of neat about that is my oil pressure gauge is also a Marshall, and it's mounted on the back of the engine block. But in the first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the filler neck installed along with this, and then we're going to probably start tackling the water pump. All right, so that's nicely in place. As you can see, I got my coolant temp gauge there, and I'll be able to, hop out. Won't be able to read it from the car, which is fine, but I'll be able to see my coolant temps on this when I get back to the pits. This is in place here. It does have additional ports in the back. However, since it's a drag car, I really don't need it. What I do need is the front one. Right there. And I do have all AN fittings for all this. It's going to look pretty nice. Got everything blocked off. So with that in place, with my temp sensor in check, what I need to do now is I need to get the water pump installed. And we're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. Get that done. And then what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to tackle, hopefully, because like I said, I've been working on the background, get that radiator in place. See you in a few. All right, like I said earlier, it's probably going to be part one of probably part two videos. I went to put on the lower radiator hose. I halfway suspected it was going to be too much of an angle. So what I did is I ordered a 90 swivel 16 AN and a 45 here. That way it's going to come 45 that way, 90 that way, and I'll be able to just come right off and make a nice clean break on that. Hopefully 90 and 45 work. I did get the radiator mounted. It's pretty solid. It's got a bracket over there that bolts into the side, and it's got two over here, same deal. Fan, it's installed. Water pump, that's installed. I went ahead, and this here is my fire safety line that goes back to my Stroud bottle. I went ahead and put that in place. Just so I know I have clearance with all the different hoses and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Water temp gauge is installed, water neck is installed. So you see how that you can fill there and it's going to trickle down and get everything filled. That's exactly what I need. I'm going to end up having to get a puke tank for this. I'm not sure where I'm going to mount it yet, but I'll figure that one out when the time comes. So yeah, that's where we're at, making progress. Like I said, it's going to be part one. Part two video. Still got to figure out how I'm going to wire it all up. Theoretically, what I want to do is wire those two together and wire it in series, well, whatever, in conjunction with my fuel pump. So when I kick my fuel pump on, my water pump's running and my fan's running. That's the plan. You got limited switches in here. You can see there's two there, and you got one back there. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot to work with there. So that's the plan. I'm rambling. I ordered some parts. It's dinner time. See you in the next one.